about questions? Because, we're talking about a 15-minute demo here, or we're just code-naming it the 15-minute demo. What do you do about questions? Well, obviously, you want to answer questions whenever they come up, and you want to host your demo in such an informal, personable manner that it feels more like a conversation than it does about a lecture. And I know here I am, I'm lecturing into YouTube, but yes, demos should feel like a conversation. The person playing the demo should really feel like that they are part of a process. And if they want to stop and ask you a question, hey, what happens if this happens here and this happens here? Feel free to answer it. Stop the demo. Take the kind of time that the player is hoping that you'll take to answer those questions. Should you be looking up rules? Nah, probably not. I mean, your first few demos out, if you don't quite have the grasp of the rules that you feel you should, look up simple rules, but don't look up like complex interactions. Like, what happens if I pine box and then this person comes here and if I did this, and what happens with her specific interaction, and you start getting into rules as written, rules as intended. That is not within the scope of this demo. So if you're picking up a rule book to look up some finicky rule like that, don't. If the player is like a really experienced gamer and they really want to know the answer to your question and nobody's around and you're not sure yourself, okay, look it up. But if it's just your average gamer, or you're maybe not a non-gamer, and they have a question, answer the question as best as you can. Without trying to crack open the rule book, because cracking up the rule book is eating into your demoee's time. And unless your demoee understands that you are eating into their time by looking up the rule book, you should not be looking in the rule book. You should give them an answer that makes sense based on how you understand the rule, and then later on go back for yourself, look it up, see if it's right or wrong. And if the person is really that interested, you could even catch up with them and say, hey, look, we played it this way during the demo. I want to let you know that's not quite how it works. I'd be more than happy to show you how that happens. One of the questions that I'm asked, and one of the questions that is often debated between henchmen and players is it automatic for a player to win a demo? And there's been a lot of discussion on this, and there's a lot of good points on either side. My personal take on it is this: the player should be winning the demo unless you feel it's important for them to learn something by losing the demo. In other words, the default answer should be yes. Should it feel like a walk? No. The player should feel frustrated at times. The player should feel like, oh, I can't kill your guy, and this is making me mad. And when they finally do, then they get some satisfaction playing that demo. The player should not feel like that they're walking right over your crew and it's like, yay, you won the demo, you're such a good player, because that seems like lip service. And at the end of the day, I don't feel that the player walked away from with anything valuable if you just threw the game. Conversely, we understand, we henchmen understand that Malifaux is a game that rewards the experienced. And I know a lot of guys out there are good theory foe guys, and a lot of guys out there have played 25, 30 different systems, and they think that they know the system. Those guys should know that a game with the nuances and the depth of characters and rules that Malifaux contains, they should know that experience pays, and that experience is going to trump inexperience 99 out of 100 times. So with that said, what you don't want to do is run over the other player and be like, yeah, that's how you play, and I'm teaching you how to be strong and tough and smart. You don't do that with Malifaux. You might do that with some of the other games there, particularly the games that are highly competitively focused. You might do that at the request of a player whose mindset is, well, beat me up real bad just so I hope I can learn something. You might do that. Even in that case, I still try to make it interesting. I still try to make that other player take ownership of the game, start making decisions on their own, and get some results out of it. You don't want to take this demo and put like Dreamer or Colette or Karai in the middle of these crews and just eat them up and run them over and club the baby seal. It's not a good demo. And so anyways, that's all I'm going to say about that, and I'm sorry for sounding preachy, but and I don't mean to be, because this is for the purpose of your player walking away with information. That's the most important. Information. They're walking away with enough information to know if they want to play this game or not. And as long as you stick to that, you should be fine. Another question I get asked is, should you stack the deck so that whatever card flips happens at this exact moment and they learn this exact thing? And I see the validity behind that, particularly in a game where you've got a red joker and a black joker, cards that can turn the course of a game. It's a good idea, but I personally don't support that. And the reason why I don't support that is I would prefer to feel natural in front of a person I'm demoing. I would prefer to be flexible, show them things that I feel are important for the player themselves, rather than talking them through some scripted yet informational demo. I just don't do that. I don't see that there's a person-to-person connection being made. Even if you read your lines like you were acting them out, I don't know. It's a personal preference. Me personally, I don't do that. I shuffle the cards, I show them the deck. Even in some cases, I'll even show them my control hand at the end of the game. Now that takes some skill. If you can actually build a bad control hand and by the end of the game show them how you were completely unable to win that demo, that speaks volumes to the player. They feel like that they've correctly or justifiably vanquished you, and to you because you were able to craft what I call a magnificent loss. Okay, so let's talk using some examples here as far as what expectations are. And when you're like me and you're dealing with live cards and live players and things are not predictable, things are going to be subject to change, and that's fine. Let's talk about how the demo typically goes with these two crews and myself. Now, for me, when the player, I'm assuming that I'm playing Seamus and that the player is playing Lady Justice. When the player first activates, they're more than half the time they're going to be starting with Mysterious, and they might walk up and shoot. They might walk up and flip. That's a pretty big decision point. That's a pretty big read for you, the henchman. If they walk up and flip, that means they've already grasped something very important to the game of Malifaux, and you can start playing them a little tactically. If they walk up and shoot, like in my case, which is about 9 out of every 10 times, the player will walk up and shoot. Well, that's good. You get to show them a duel. But then on your turn, maybe you're the one that goes up and flips it, just to show them that. The player may then start spending some resources killing your first model. You may spend some resources outmaneuvering and then raising a new model, which is fine as well. And that's typically how 2 turns will go. At some point, the player may figure things out, and you're hoping that they do, that they figure things out and they start flipping things for themselves, and they end up winning on victory points. But on the other hand, they could end up trying to just wipe you out, which is equally fine and equally valid for a demo, and you can explain to them how you were still outscoring them, even though they were spending their time killing you. That's normally the 2 types of demos you get. Okay, so that's really it as far as the 15-minute demo. I probably should point out that most of the time the 15-minute demo does run somewhere closer to half an hour, and that's okay. You tell the player that up front, that the most demos run between 30 to 40 minutes. However, you can speed things up and be done in 15 minutes. Couple of last bits of advice for you guys that are out there doing the demos, and I know that Weird really appreciates the job that we do as henchmen and volunteers, so thank you for that. The bits of advice, if I would give general advice for people running demos: number one rule, have fun. Have fun, enjoy your demo. If you don't enjoy running demos, don't run a demo. It's that simple. No one's holding a gun to your head. No one's telling you that you have to sell this game, or you have to demo for people, unless you signed up to be a henchman. Then I hope you better enjoy it. I mean, you better have signed up with the intention of enjoying running a demo too. May not be the most fun you've had playing, but you should still enjoy meeting new people and opening up their eyes to this awesome game. Number one rule, have fun. Number two rule, relax. Enjoy yourself. Don't get bent out of shape if things don't go exactly right, or if your equipment isn't exactly what you wanted it to be, or if the outcome is even what you were hoping it would be. Relax. Players respond much better to players that are, showing that they're having a good time even just by demoing the game, and number two, players that they can feel comfortable around, i.e. relaxed players. So, the two bits of advice I would give to people running demos: have fun and relax. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.